From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Heavy winds, icy cold temperatures, and plenty of snow are continuing to make life more difficult in different parts of the country. On Canada's east coast, a high wind warning is in effect for parts of Newfoundland and Labrador, especially along the Atlantic coastline. The winds are also whipping in Nova Scotia, PEI, and along the St. Lawrence from Montreal to the Gaspé Peninsula. The prairies have been hit hard this week with one Alberta clipper after the other, blowing snow and poor road conditions between central Alberta all the way down to southern Manitoba is still making travel a hazardous affair. The northern parts of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba are also experiencing a serious Arctic freeze, roughly minus 45 with the wind chill. As the government plans to get federal public servants to spend more time in the office, those workers may have some unwelcome office mates.
Pests have been spotted in Ottawa area federal buildings more than 500 times this year. Public Services and Procurement Canada says the pests detected between April 1st and November 24th included, but were not limited to, bats, birds, ants, bedbugs, bees, wasps, and other small insects, as well as mice and other rodents. But an agency spokesperson says these are isolated incidents, not outbreaks or infestations. Federal unions have repeatedly raised the pest issue, especially in the context of the government's return to office push. Jason White, The Canadian Press.
Police in southwestern Ontario say a man suspected of shooting an officer earlier Friday remains barricaded inside a home. Niagara Regional Police say efforts are being made to coax him out, and negotiations are continuing in the hopes of a peaceful surrender. In the meantime, a local shelter-in-place order remains in effect for the community of Welland, Ontario. The injured officer was taken to hospital but has since been released with minor injuries. A childcare centre opening up next year in Ottawa is hoping that its unique focus on intergenerational programming will serve as a model far and wide. The joint effort coming from Andrew Fleck Children's Services and Pearly Health will see the childcare centre built at the heart of Pearly's long-term care campus, and it'll focus on interactions between children and the seniors that they dub grandfriends. Andrew Fleck runs other intergenerational programs in the community, and Executive Director Kim Hiscott says they've had great success.
One of my fun stories that I'd heard from one of the educators was that a preschool-age child had said to her one day, "What day is it today?" And the educator said, "Oh, well, it's Monday." And then the child said, No, is it Molly Day or is it Sarah Day?
The new daycare will see grandfriends being able to join a collage-making activity, bake muffins, read stories with the children, eat alongside them in a cafeteria, or simply sit and watch them play. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, two Canadian teams seeing action in the NHL Friday night. Brent Burns and Martin Necas scored early as the Colorado Avalanche held on to beat the Winnipeg Jets 3-2. Meanwhile, the Canucks beat the New York Islanders 4-1, giving Vancouver a sweep of the three New York area teams throughout the week. Philip Danault is returning to the Montreal Canadiens. The Habs acquired the veteran center from the Los Angeles Kings in a trade announced by both teams just before the NHL holiday roster freeze began. Now over to the NBA, where Victor Wembanyama has joined an exclusive club, recording his 100th consecutive regular season game with at least one block in the San Antonio Spurs' 129-98 win over the Atlanta Hawks. The Toronto Raptors, meantime, had the night off, but they'll be back in action today, taking on the Boston Celtics. And finally, Anthony Joshua knocked out Jake Paul in the sixth round of their heavyweight fight, the two-time heavyweight champion displaying why he is considered one of the sport's elite punchers. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.